started with 5 individuals, and I happened to have quite had a journey with my entrepreneurship aspirations before that point. And at that point, I happened to just be, at the right place at the right time. My current partner offering the opportunity to go into agriculture, something that I never considered ever in my life going into. But, out of curiosity and out of a lot of hunger, and also understanding that agriculture, as much as it may have been something I had not yet considered, also stands to, bring to me the kind of things that I wanted to be able to achieve in this world. So I took that opportunity, and that is how Kwenantle Farmers was born.
Okay, that's great to hear, Lembi. Yeah. I myself, I have seen Kwenantle Farmers. I've seen the exponential growth in terms, particularly in the agricultural space, and I think it's quite fulfilling, or to see a woman leading such a business, to be actually one of the trailblazers in the agricultural industry. I think in terms of scaling agribusiness, to you, Bernard, agriculture can be capital intensive and unpredictable. What have you done as a senior leadership Bank Gaborone to ensure that your clients actually scale their operations?
Well, first thing is first, for you to be able to, assist a client optimally, efficiently, you need to do what is called understanding the client's business first. That's the first thing that you need to do as a relationship manager. Agriculture is so diverse. So for you to be able to offer the right solutions or add value to the client's business, you need to know what they're doing. You need to be their point of contact. You need to do the site visits to go and see what is really on the ground, because more than anything else, we receive a lot of papers for various client requests. But having to undergo through a lot of papers, not having to done the site visit, will obviously place a challenge on the type of solutions that you want to provide for your client. So that is the first thing. You need to understand client's business and do certain site visits, because a client will come to you to say, I've got this challenge, but not knowing what is on the site, you can go there, and so that at a certain point in time, you can advise the client with the right solutions for their businesses. So that's the things that we normally adhere to do. And then from there, obviously, various challenges that the client faces, you can then, offer the right solution and match it with their business operations, so that you can take them from point A to point B. And, staying close to the client will also make you to offer the right solutions at the right time, so that the business doesn't collapse, the business can grow. You are able to provide the kind of advice that the client will need to, so that they can stay sustainable.
What you're basically saying is that Bank Gaborone is a relationship-based bank. You try to understand anticipate the client's wants and needs, and to ensure that you solution particularly to those clients. Because I think, we've seen a lot, the buzz on social media about how people are saying, but it's all about banking me transactionally. But I've never had a conversation with my relationship manager, or if I open a bank account, the sales consultant or the business banker doesn't ask me, what do you do? How can we help you? How can you cross-sell the different products that the bank offers? Because I think I think one of the things that we try to do is that push transactional products, understand what clients are going through, offer the right solution. I mean, Kwenantle Farmers, you may find that you're doing business in South Africa. Do you have the right products that enable you to optimize on that particular service, to ensure that you optimize your business operations? So I think it speaks a lot to how relationship management is actually important. And I think it goes on to my next question, Lembi. I'll throw this to you. Okay. Every SME has challenges. I think, what has been your biggest challenge, and how have you overcome it?
I think in agriculture, it goes without saying that the first one that we're all experiencing now is climate change. Unpredictable weather and climate conditions, and how that affects obviously our business, and therefore our our bottom line. And being able to have a relationship like you just spoken of with your bank that understands this, that knows and takes the time to really also observe what is happening in these kinds of industries that they participate in, also helps with having that conversation, also helps in being able to open up conversations towards, do you need cash flow support? Do we restructure your facilities? How do we restructure your facilities? Those are the kinds of conversations I particularly enjoy, especially as we are on this huge growth spurt, to be able to have a bank that wants to take those kinds of chances in an industry challenged with so much. So yes, for me, that is one of the ways we've been able to, mitigate against climate change being one of the challenges. And then the other big challenge that we currently are having is, challenges with our governance structures. When you start a business, putting in structures becomes very difficult because it can impede the growth that you need. You don't want to put in that many controls, but obviously you need to come in at the right time now with these kinds of structures being put in place. And if you miss the boat a little bit, it can then also start to impede your growth. And that is something that we are also realizing now, and something that has been communicated with the bank, and with their support, we're currently, working with consultants to try and restructure and position our business for growth.
Okay, thank you for that, Lembi. I think it also just speaks to how important communication is in you driving the growth of your business. And I think it also speaks to, maybe to throw it to you, Bernard, to say that what has Bank Gaborone done to support SMEs, taking into account particularly what's currently happening with the economic downturn, where there's a lot of uncertainty. What are you currently doing to ensure that you support SMEs?
So that every business should be sustainable. So that's the first thing that you, as a bank or as Bank Gaborone, we try to achieve to our clients. We have challenges like you are saying, the economic downturn that is currently happening. Recently, that most of our clients, they procure most of the materials or inputs for that production from South Africa. The exchange rate risk that they have, and through all those things, you can then, one thing that I've always keen on is that our clients we should be close to our clients. Those early warning signs that are happening within the economy, talk to a client and offer some certain reprieve. I know it's difficult for clients to get funding now because of the current liquidity issues where rates are high, but as a bank, we have various solutions that we can use to cushion our clients in this time period. Or you can offer moratorium on repayments, or you can restructure facilities to suit the current cash flows that the client have and how they want to take their business forward. Where there's need for additional funding for the client to cross that bridge, we can also offer that reprieve and make sure that our clients are sustained. What we are so proud of is that we don't want to see our clients' business going down. We're here to support them. We're here to make sure that that business just be sustainable. There's growth for their businesses. At the end of the day, everybody's happy. The bank is happy with whatever that is getting from the client, and also the client's business will then grow from year on. Yes.
Okay, that's great to hear, Bernard. I think Motswana Betsukohai from Lembi and Bernard, that Manano are thing to assist you to actually grow your business, because I think in most cases you find that there are SMEs that are struggling, but they have pulled back to say that this is the current position that I'm in. So, and then that's it. They don't know where they can actually go. So I think such that approach your Bank Gaborone to learn more about how they can solution for you, so that they walk the journey with you as connectors of positive change. I think now to maybe deep dive into, we're always talking innovation, this and that, into farming, Lembi. Lembi, I think, as you know, agriculture is evolving quickly. So what innovation or modern practices have you actually put in place at Kwenantle farmers to drive the exponential growth?
I think for start, the first one is obviously our irrigation systems. We have center pivot irrigation, which is quite a very flexible system that allows you to play around with the kind of crops you can do under center pivot. But as we grew, we then realized we were not utilizing enough of our space. Then we had to get innovative and, add on something else. So we brought in sprinkler irrigation systems. But as we have progressed, also we are starting to see opportunities for us to also introduce drip as we also tap into other segments of agriculture. Because primarily now we do mainly crops, and we do see a future in the near future where we will be, we will be diving into various crops of horticulture nature.
Okay,
Yes.
That's great to hear. I always see on social media that you're one of the big suppliers of lucerne.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing the advertising. I'm like, even the responses that we actually see on Facebook, it does show that Kwenantle is on the right trajectory to ensure that they supply good quality products to their clients. To you, Ben, as a financial expert in assisting SMEs achieve that growth, what do you think the modern practices that have actually been employed currently for farmers?
So there are various ways if you look at the farming operations of a client. They are, smart farming is one of the things that we as Bank Gaborone are very interested in to make sure that the client's business is sufficient or efficient going forward. There are various kind of farming implements that we can finance the client to make sure that, for instance, if they're doing crop farming like they're doing, we know that they need certain type of tractors, they need certain type of, planters, they need certain type of harvesters that they can, use in their operations so that they become, they modernize their operations. And at the end of it all, whatever that you produce, obviously there is a production that you do, and then also, so what happens after the production? Where do you have a storage facility? Do you have things that you can do? How do you then get your things to market? Do you need trucks? Do you need this? Do you need that? So we support the client's value chain to its completeness so that they're able to make their business sustainable going forward. There is nothing more disinteresting by short financing a client because that business will not take off. So what we do is that we make sure that whatever we go into a client's business, we offer the right type of equipment to support that business so that it can be able to produce, harvest, and take their product to market. So those are the kind of technologies that we try to offer to our clients through various solutions that we offer as a bank.
Okay, that's great to hear that. Lembi, is there maybe something that you might to add to what Ben has just said now?
Of course. We've received various forms of funding from Bank Gaborone. For example, that's why it's nice to be with a bank that takes chances where most won't. We've been funded, procurement of a property, development of that property, including civil structures that are necessary to, facilitate the establishment of that business, just to support what you were saying. And also even the procurement of the irrigation systems and also the flexibility to choose the irrigation systems that we want to implement. And the support from that beginning of that process to where we are now has just been incredible. So, yes.
Okay. So this really speaks to the importance of, relationship management. It speaks to you understanding Kwenantle farmers. It speaks to you supporting the whole value chain. Because I think at the end of the day, you wouldn't want to be sitting with an non-performing loan from a client because you chose not to, take over the whole supply chain to ensure that you look at the end-to-end to assist the client. And then Lembi, in terms of empowering local communities, I think your business plays an important role in the community. How do you view the role of SMEs in empowering farmers, youth, and their suppliers?
It truly is my belief that as a business owner and as a business, it is to your benefit to support the community. A healthier, wealthier community is a community that will add to your sustainability as a business. Because when you are healthier, we're able to render the skills and labor that you need for your business. When we are wealthier, we're able to continue to support and procure your products and services. But you have to be intentional about it. You must want impact in your community greater than just the jobs you create, greater than just the products that you sell to the community, no matter how valuable they may be. We exist in a business, we exist in an ecosystem that we take away from. So it's our responsibility to also put back into those communities and empower.
Yes. That's actually great to hear because, you know, I think what we've had in the past is whereby businesses were just purely profit driven and not actually plunging back into the business. I think that's why even as us as Bank Gaborone, we consider ourselves connectors of positive change, because in as much as we assist our clients, we always like to give back to the communities, because those are the communities that make us who we are as a bank and as a people. To speak to you, Bernard, what 3 practical steps would you give to an entrepreneur who wants to run a small operation into a scalable and sustainable business? Because trust you me, maybe they might think you are speaking at for a higher level SME, but there's someone out there being asking themselves, you know, I just listened to Rakhamanyana, I just listened to Lembi, you know, what 3 useful tips can you give them so that they're able to actually introspect and say, you know what, I need to dust myself up, I need to go out there and ensure I make myself and, you know, the business win?
Well, basically, there are various ways to assist the small business to, you know, to grow from where they are, whether it's a startup or a business that has been struggling and wants to get from point A to point B. So normally, what I always say to various people that I meet, whether in the bank or out there in the market that we operate in, is that, you know, for a large number of SMEs, the first thing that you need to do is that you should separate your personal, you know, situations with the business. There's nothing wrong with opening a business account with the bank, no matter how small little money goes into that account. What is 1,000 pula a month or 2,000 pula ka kgwedi? You should not take your personal, you know, issues from that account. You should separate them, and then you can always give yourself a salary that you can then use on the side. So you should learn to separate these two. Business is business, no matter how small it is. That's one thing that you should do. You should open a business account, and then as the owner of the business, because normally it's a one-man show, so you can always pay yourself a salary out of that, so that, you know, you can be able to merge. By doing that, the second thing that also you are creating for yourself is that you are creating history. Historic financial information for your business. So whenever you go to a bank, they will say financial statements or show us how your business has been going. No matter how small it is, whether it's doing 30,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 a month, it doesn't matter. As long as the bank can see that there's track record for that business, and then you need to be assisted with expansion or whatever that you might need, at least you have created a track record for yourself. And the third thing is that there are various ways to look at taking an SME, growing an SME to a sustainable business. The issue of how you use your cash flow or financial management skills should also add on to some of the tips that I can give to a small business. You should know, when you do your financial, let me say your cash flow for your business, you should know where my money is coming from, what am I selling, what is my product, what is my cost for that business. At the end of the day, what is my profit? Those are the things that you should know at any point in time, so that you can be able to go to a bank to say, I'm struggling here. You see that my expenses are so high, So there's a cash flow gap. So I need an overdraft or you can keep the facility to be able to assist me to make this business, especially when the business is starting. So those are things that, as an advice that we can give to small business and entrepreneurs is that they should not shy away from coming to a bank and seek advice. It's not about getting a loan. Sometimes it's just about the way you want to do your business. You open an account, you see your track record. 6 months down the line, now you've got a track record, you can be able to expand some facilities based on the performance of your business, no matter how small it is. So I would advise small business out there, don't shy away from coming to a bank. Going to a bank is not about getting a loan. Sometimes it's also about advice that you can get from a bank on how you can improve on your business.
Yes. I think that's great advice, Bernard, because I think also in my experience as a business banker, I've seen that firstly, people can't separate between personal and business. And tomorrow when they want to apply for facilities and maybe they are declined, there'll be this bank behind that, because they did not actually separate the two. Sometimes when talk about hey, business are you able to account for your expenses? Manager business, So those are actually great insights to say that to walk into any branch or any branch, tell them your story and hear how best they can help you. I think just in closing,
to add to that, I mean, even with us at the scale that we operate in, we value the relationship banking possibly more than, no, maybe not. The financial part of it, because when you do structure when you do make your growth plans, right, you do need somebody on the other side that is able to look at things from a different perspective than you are able to, especially issues of affordability, So being able to go into a bank and say, Bernard, this is what you were thinking, how are you able to, well, the bank do this, and then he's also able to give in his 2 cents. We may not eventually get that facility. We may not even qualify for the facility like we thought we would. But at the very least, some direction that lands you in the right spot has been rendered to you. So the bank is not just where you go to get money. A lot of very, very wise advice, succinct advice that, helps sustain your business is where you can go also.
Thank you for that, Bernard and Lembi. I think maybe in closing, the who has joined us, what advice would you give them, as someone who has seen exponential growth within your business? What can you advise the entrepreneur who's looking to grow their business?
I think for me, the first one would be research. Do your research. Go to the bank. Go to the government office, go to the layer office, go wherever you can access the information that you need to drive whatever aspirations you have. And then the second one will be flexible. You may start somewhere. We started with tomatoes and butternut, but today we look at those things very much sideways. But be flexible, because you don't know in what direction your growth is going to be in. Allow yourself to be able to consume information and be teachable and seek and get the opportunities as they come. And then finally, invest in your brand. Invest in your brand. Invest in your brand means decide what it is that your business will stand for. And as far as the community goes as well, that is where now issues of working with the communities, helping develop your communities, wanting impact beyond just that what you sell is also very important. I believe that some of the affinity that we get, some of the assistance that we've received from banks, including Bank Gaborone, is out of the fact that we've been able to create a brand that people like, people want to associate with. So invest in your brand.
Thank you for that, Lembi. Motswana wetsuko hai, we kutlwetse from Lembi Tlhalerwa, founding and managing director from Kwenantle Farms, as well as Bernard Rakhamanyane, senior leadership manager, agribusiness as Bank Gaborone. We'd like to thank you for coming through today to unpack on what it truly means to be an everyday entrepreneur. Motswana wetsuko hai, Thank you for joining us today and for sharing your invaluable insights. We look forward to seeing you at the next Kgwebo Connect series. My name is Bobo Samuel, your host for today's session, and see you next time. Thank you.